Hello and welcome. My name is Alyssa and this is Into the Heartwild. So today I am finally bringing you guys my January wrap up because on par with who I am, I'm very late with it. But in my defense this time, I did get sick like right at the beginning of February. It took me out for like 4 days and then for like 3 days I had no voice. And then followed up by just coughing, you know? So I'm finally at that point where I can talk. So with that said, we're going to be talking about the books that I read in January, which I think I had a pretty decent month. I actually read a lot of self-published books in January. There are some where I finished them all the way through. There are a couple DNFs. So, you know, some I didn't even finish in January. So a nice little variety of things going on. I do have my little spreadsheet here because I don't own like physical copies of all of these books. So yeah, but before I jump into this, if you guys like my content and you want to stick around and see more of it, go ahead, like, subscribe, hit the little bell button because you know that tells you when I post a video, and stick around. So to start out, the first actual book that I read and finished was actually a buddy read with my bestie. We are currently rereading the entire Immortals After Dark series by Kresley Cole. It is a paranormal romance series. So we started with the first book, which is a novella, The Warlord Wants Forever. And while I still have my issues with the consent stuff going on with like the sexual scenes, I do have to say this go around, I did actually enjoy the story more because I paid more attention to the characters and the character buildings and the events that were happening, but also because of the fact that we have read this book already, I was able to appreciate the smaller little Easter eggs that Kresley placed throughout the book and everything. The Mista's background still broke my heart. I actually enjoyed Nikolai's character a little bit more this time. He's the one who I have the consent issues with, but outside of like the sexual stuff, he was honestly kind of funny. He was kind of funny, and I'm like, you know what? When he's not being a horrible person, he's actually not that bad. So I did end up raising my initial rating because I do have to admit I was very harsh the first go around reading this series with her. I have since kind of relaxed a little bit, and now I kind of like understand that there's just going to be certain elements in some of these romance books that are just gonna be there. I don't have to like them, but they're gonna kind of be there. But I do actually appreciate Kresley's craft when it comes to her world, her lore, the overarching story, how she connects it all. It is fantastic. So I actually rose my rating from a 1 to a 3 because, like I said, I still have some problems with it, but I did enjoy it more. So it's more just like I enjoyed this. Like I could reread it again if I had to. It's a novella. It's short. And in case anyone cares, me and her will be doing some discussion videos on this series this year. So you can either look forward to that or you can completely ignore it. It's completely up to you. But just know that there will be more video stuff based around this series because at this point it is actually the only romance series that I genuinely enjoy. So the second book I read is one that I actually did for a book tour, and that is The Last Ranger by JDL Rosal. I have a review for this on my blog. It is also posted on Goodreads, but overall I genuinely enjoyed this. I thought it was a great start to a whole new series. I love the Titans that are in this, like the lore around the Titans, the giant beasts that are in this world. I genuinely enjoyed them. What is that? Oh, it's a tab. I was like, what is that in the book? It was a tab because I tapped. Oh, there's 2 of them. So overall, it's a really good start to a new series. There were a few things that I had some minor issues with, but not enough to where I absolutely hated it. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, and I will be looking forward to the second book in the series because the ending was, it pulled me in enough to make me go, oh, okay, like I want to see what happens next. Like I want to see what happens. So definitely a good one. Definitely recommend picking it up. After that, I read another self-published book, and that would be No Heart for a Thief by James Lloyd Doolin. There is actually a video review for this here on my channel. I will have it linked below. But overall, definitely enjoyed this. The ending, the ending, I was like, that's what we're gonna do. Like, can I have the second book now, please? Can I? Like, that was rude. I also like the approach that Doolin took towards Kalo sharing his past with Taeyeon. I thought it was definitely a whole new approach for me, at least it was. I don't know if this has shown up in other fantasy books because, you know, I haven't read everything, but I like the approach that he took with it. I did have, like, you know, my little minor issues here and there with it too, but like I said, I have a video where I dive into my actual whole thoughts and everything about this. But overall, great story, great start to a whole new series. I am very excited to see what happens in the next book, and it is definitely worth checking out. After that, me and the bestie started our reread of A Hunger Like No Other. Now, we did not finish this in January. We actually finished it here in February, but I started it in January, which is why I'm including it in this. But since we're done with it, I'm going to tell you guys now, yes, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it more than I did the first time around. Again, it's another one of those situations where I appreciate the lore, the world, the overarching story, every scene that has the Valkyries in it. God, I just love those girls. The main guy, Lachlan, you know, he's 1 minute you hate him, the next minute you're like, why are you so adorable? Why are you like this? Like, she kills me sometimes. But yes, we did start this, but we didn't finish it till February because life. All right, so after that, I attempted to read a novella called The Rider in the Night by Brendan Noble. It is the prequel to the Frostmarked Chronicles. I actually ended up DNFing this book about 3 chapters in. The pacing was just way too fast. Like, I love novellas, and I do think that there is a certain art form to novellas to genuinely make them work, and this one, unfortunately, was just not working. Like, the pace was just, it was just way too fast. You couldn't, like, the character literally went from, like, boom, 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 boom in a matter of, like, 2 chapters. And I was just like, this is too much. You're not giving me a time to let any kind of event sink into my head. You're not giving any kind of chance for, like, the events to kind of, like, sit and kind of flourish a little bit. You're just, he did this, and then he did this, and then he did this, and then this happened, and then this happened. And you're just like, we're only in chapter 2. Why has so many things happened in chapter 2 already? So by the 3rd chapter, when more things kept happening, I was just like, you know, I'm done. It's just too fast. Not enough time to really let the story kind of, like, sit and kind of just flourish in itself. So I DNF'd that one. So then after that, I attempted to read another novella because I have a lot of them on my Kindle because for the most part, a lot of novellas are free. And this one was called The Secret of the Zarita Moon by C. Litka. I actually DNF'd this one for the opposite reason. It was so slow. And I'm not even sure if it actually is a novella because according to, like, one source, it says it's 170 pages and then another source says it's like 200 something pages. So I don't even know how long this book is. But either way, it was so slow. So, oh God, just taking forever for anything to happen, anything slightly interesting. And the main character was just kind of like, I was bored. I was bored following them. I don't actually remember, like, I mean, I want to say I remember the character was trying to get away from someone who was trying to kill him because he realized that he stopped an event from happening that was being purposely done, and he prevented it. And so now, like, and that caused, like, people to lose money. So yeah, it was just, it felt like a lot of stuff, but a lot of nothing at the same time. So I got bored and I was just like, I don't want to read this anymore. And I stopped. Then after that, I read another self-published book. So as you can see, a lot of self-published books in here. Unfortunately, 2 were DNFs. That's so sad. I read Stellar Instinct by Jonathan Navarre. This is a standalone. So if you need a nice little break between series, or you just want to pick up a story that's a one and done, boom, here you go. It is according to the front of this, a sci-fi space adventure, which it was. It was. I was not able to figure out who was behind everything. Honestly, the character who ended up betraying everybody, I thought it was a different character. So you got me with that one, and I don't know, maybe it's because I don't read a lot of mysteries that I wasn't able to figure it out. Or maybe I'm stupid, I don't know. But the more interesting elements of this story was Lelaine, the main character. She would, throughout the story, start writing poems or haikus. I think it's poems, which was a very interesting element for me. Like, I'm very used to, like, songs being in books and maybe once in a while, like, a poem, but it was throughout the entire story. Like, she'd be in the middle of running for her life and she's like, oh, I just had a poem come to my head. And I'm like, you're running for your life. Why are you thinking about that right now? And then she would recite it and I was like, homegirl, what are you doing? It was without a doubt, like, the most interesting element for me. Like, I don't read poetry. So I can't actually tell you if, like, I think the poems were good, because I don't read poetry, so I don't understand the cadences. But she was dropping them. She was dropping them left and right throughout the entire story, and I was just like, okay, girl, you do you. You do. I mean, you're running for your life right now, but yeah, sure. Let's tell me that poem. What you got going on, girl? What you got going on in that head? It was just such an interesting element. Yeah. I plan on doing, like, a whole actual video on this book review wise. I'm having some trouble, like, just even getting through this right now because I'm still not over my cold. But just know I will have a full review for this one coming up. But it's good, it's fun, it's entertaining, it's got some very different elements thrown throughout it, so definitely do check it out. And then the last book that I started in January but haven't finished would be Rise of Empire by Michael J. Sullivan, book 2 in the Rhyrea Revelations. At this point, I have finished the first book, obviously still have the second one to read, but yeah, started in January, loving it. I love Hadrian so much, you guys don't even know. I love that man. Once I fully finish this, I will be having a review for this as well. So, but it's great, it's fun, it's so easy, it's so accessible. Just, if you haven't read it, go read them, okay? And that is everything I read in January. This video was a strain to film because I kept having coughing attacks. So I'm very sorry if, like, my voice is all over the place in this video. I tried, I really did. We'll see you guys next time. Bye!